Do you think because they made Thor so different that they would take Beta Ray Bill in a different direction?
Of course. I'm scared of that. I'm scared of that with every character.
True, right.
I mean, if they reintroduce, if they do a reset and reintroduce Captain America, are they going to make him quippy and full of jokes? I mean, yeah, I'm scared of that. Yes, I am. I'm nervous about all these characters, about them screwing up the personalities, because they tend to do that.
They do, but, and I don't want to make it seem like I'm defending them so much, but it's like, they kind of make it work to an extent for the world that they're building.
Yeah. No, and I get that, I never really cared for Iron Man until Robert Downey Jr. portrayed him.
He's probably who made me love Iron Man.
And he gave the character life that I'd never really seen in the comics before that.
Right.
So I really enjoyed that, because to a certain extent Robert Downey Jr. isn't really acting as Iron Man. He's kind of just playing himself. I always get the impression, he's not.
Well, I read Iron Man and I read it as Robert Downey Jr.
Right. And the thing is, too, now, writers write it.
Like it's
Robert Downey Jr. playing him. So they give him that snark that he'd never really... Well, I don't want to say he never had, but he didn't entirely have. So
yeah. I mean, I'm doing a series on the I Am Iron Man anniversary. Mm-hmm. They're all written so far like Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
That's kind of, that's not even being lazy. That's just, he was that good as that character that's all you can think of now.
Yeah, and I mean, he didn't really have that much of a character beforehand.
He didn't.
He really didn't in the series.
He just had blackface.
Blackface?
I know who I am. I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude. What?
With each one of my characters, I mean, I've seen it with Doom how many times. Mm-hmm. We've even seen it with Spider-Man. You know, like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man wasn't really as clippy.
No. He was just the nerdy Peter Parker.
Right.
They took that one aspect, and then with Andrew Garfield, it's like they took the cool aspect and ranked that up. The third time they got it right.
And see, with Scott Lang as Ant-Man, I always read him as a much more angry character. Well, yeah, and you would think they'd get that from opening it up as him being a criminal. Yeah, and it's not even that. It's he has a lot of anger issues in the comics, especially the ones he was in a bunch of Avengers books back in the late '90s, early 2000s. He was kind of an angry character in the books, especially when he hated Jack of Hearts. They used to go at it in that series. So I mean, there are a lot of characters. Obviously She-Hulk. I don't hate that series the way a lot of other YouTubers do. We won't mention any names, but maybe we'll put a link to a video I was in where I modestly defended that movie against, or television show against a bunch of haters. But even her, like, they didn't. Depending on the writer, depending on the take, maybe you could say she was like She-Hulk, but and that's. I think that's really the important thing that I should say here is that I've read certain stories by certain writers, and the characters were a certain way, and that's the way they are in my mind, right? And maybe I don't read all the series by them. So I've read specific She-Hulk series, so to me that's not her character. But there's other stories that maybe that is the character, and that is the character with Iron Man and things like that. So that's really the funny thing to me. Now I will say 100% Thor we have not seen. Maybe Thor: The Dark World, we saw Thor actually a little bit. Other than that, we have not really seen Thor from the comics at all.
Yeah.
Prove me wrong. They won't. No, they won't. Prove me wrong in the comments. Come on.
Well, and you're right, because I've been talking, I've been reading more and more comics lately, kind of going back and reading the older ones to get a better feel, and I'm reading them, like this, like all of them are different in a sense, but I read Captain America, and I'm like, okay, it's Captain America, more or less.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, yeah, it's there. I can kind of see where they're getting it from. But then I read Thor, and I'm like, this is not. Like, there's no humor here.
If you want to read one of the biggest disparages between the movies and the comics, and this is funny because I hold these comics very dearly in my heart, and I also love the movies. Guardians of the Galaxy.
You mentioned that, yeah.
So the Guardians of the Galaxy, written by Abnett and Lanning, after the post the Annihilation storyline, Star-Lord, especially Star-Lord, like in the Annihilation storyline. In fact, I was rewatching Guardians of the Galaxy the other day, and there's one of the Ravengers on the spaceship has this robotic right eye and a metal plate. That's what Star-Lord looked like at the beginning of Annihilation. It wasn't like the character that you see at all with the mask and the cool.
Right. Yeah.
He was kind of this, like, he was a criminal, and he was in jail, and he was missing one of his eyes, and it was that robotic kind of eye. I don't know if that was intentionally a nod to how Star-Lord originally looked or not, but yeah, no, they've completely redone that character. But comics do that all the time. So different writers have different writing styles and write characters with different tones. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
But just do Thor right for once, please.
Just once for him, please.
Once.
I'm really tired of hearing about
Or
it.
at least do Beta Ray Bill right. Come on.
I think they probably will. Well, they will do him. I don't think they'll do him right.
Nah.
We'll see.
Scorsese was right.